Little beach chicken?
May pupuin dapat pa na.
They're all confused.
They don't know where they are.
They're in Costa Rica.
They're just big.
What up, y'all? Got the monkey beach workout going on. Just saw a comment right now. I wanted to do this video replying to a comment. The first one I saw was from John Combs, and it said, how do you not underprice jobs? Can you do a video on that? So this video is just for you. I'll just share in my experience from all the jobs that I've underpriced and overpriced, because they're both equally detrimental, what I would look for, what I would do, and how I would go forward with quoting all these beautiful grassy mowing jobs in the future. So the first thing that I would just say to you, John, is you're going to underquote regardless. I think your first handful of jobs, even into the later experiences of your business, you're still going to be underquoting. So realize that you have to underquote at some points to realize what the true value of your work is to not only yourself, but also realizing what you can offer to the customer. Underquoting sucks. There's going to be times when you get on a job, say you're doing a property like this, you quoted it, I don't know, $20 or $30, and you realize it's worth 40, 50, 60. That's normal, and that happened to me tons of times. So first thing is, be okay with underquoting. You have to do it. You're not just going to get out the gate and quote every single job perfectly. So when you have that in the back of your head, I think it makes it a lot easier, and you realize that underquoting and making a boo-boo is just a learning experience. It's not a mistake that you got to go home and cry about. So the second thing is, underquoting is bad, of course, but also overquoting is bad too, because if you just think you're worth too much in the beginning, or you just quote it too high and you don't know the market of your area, then you're not going to land any jobs, which is very bad for that as well. So a tip that I always give people to find the average so you don't over or under off the beginning is, say if you live in a house and you have a picture you can send of your front and backyard, or you have a friend or family member that you can use their photos of their yard, or if you don't have either, say if everybody lives in apartments where you live, just go take a picture of someone's front yard, act like you're a customer, and then text local companies in your area, go to Google, type in lawn services near me, pose as a customer just as a learning experiment, and then ask them what they would quote for this yard. You don't have to go make the company go to your area. Of course, I think that's a waste of time, but you could go and just text people and just say, what would you quote for this yard? I just need it front and back, mow, trim, edge, blow, and then you'll get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers. You can average them out, and now you know the market going rate for your area. Don't quote me on that. I'm not saying everybody who's watching this go out and just go do artificial messaging, but hypothetically, if you wanted to, that's a way that you hypothetically could go do that, right? So just little things like that. So I think that's a good way to just get the baseline of knowing what you're going for, because $50 yards is what I'm able to charge for myself. And again, people will say, in my area, you wouldn't get more than 30 for that. I used to think the same thing, but then I increased my reviews, I increased the quality of my work, I increased my customer service, and then boom, I went from charging 30 to 50, even 60 on these same size yards that I've been doing in the same zip code for years and years. So that's just more food to think about, more food for thought to think about. So that's a little background of how to not underquote, how to not overquote, how to find the average for your area. Now let's talk about when you're actually doing quotes. Let me just flip the camera around so I can show you what I would look for in a job. So obviously, I mean, I guess not obviously, maybe if you live at a beach town, you could be doing a property like this, but just say from this shrub right here, all the way to the gym right here. So there's this area right here. How much would I quote for this if I was doing a lawn service business here in Costa Rica? So there's a couple things I would look for. The obvious is, how tall is the grass? If it's a little bit taller like it is right here, then you would charge more for the initial service and then charge a flat rate for maintaining it going forward. The simplest explanation would be, example, to do a first mow, trim, edge, and blow for this yard, because it's a little bit tall, I'm gonna need to mow over it 2 to 3 times. I might have to weed whack before even mowing. So say the first time, just an arbitrary number, $85 for the first visit. And then after that, $60 every week, every 2 weeks to go forward. So if it's a little bit taller, then charge more for the initial visit and then charge a flat, even rate going forward. Say $80 and then 60, or 85 and then 60 going forward, whatever it is. If it's short like this, say just this area right here, I wouldn't charge more for the initial because it's already pretty short. So I'm just going over it basically like I've already been doing it because it's already been short. Say they might have mowed it themselves recently. So I could just say $60 per visit every week, every 2 weeks, and that's how it is right there. So either if it's taller like it is right here, you can tell it's kind of like 1 foot, 2 foot, charge more for the initial and then do a flat rate. If it's short like this, then just charge the flat rate going forward. So that's one thing, is just the condition of the yard. The following things are all just various things, like how many trees are there? Are you gonna have to go wiggle around tree after tree after tree, go around those posts right there? Are you gonna have to go around just like playground? Say that's a playground in a customer's yard. Is there chairs? Is there little decorations? All those little things will make me charge more if there's more to go through, because if it was just a big flat yard with no trees, then I would charge a lot less because I could just stripe and it's fun and it's easy versus me having to go Dale Earnhardt and go cut all these corners with my mower, right? So the first thing is, how many obstructions are there? Two, what I would look for is it mostly weedy or is it mostly grassy? If it's mostly weedy, it's gonna be messy. I'm gonna be spitting weeds everywhere because it's gonna be all sticky and gunky. So if it's grass, I'll charge less because I enjoy it and it's easy to mow. If it's weedy, it's gonna be gunky. You might have to go 2-3 times. You might have to open up the chute and spit it out. So I would charge more if it's weedy versus if it was just grass, just like I would charge more if there's trees everywhere versus if there was no trees. Another thing to obviously look at is there hills. Is it going to be cumbersome to push your mower up and down the hill if you're using a push mower? This yard's flat. Most of my yards are flat, so that one's pretty straightforward. I wouldn't charge extra for there being no hill. Another thing I would look for is, how is the entry point? Is it very easy to enter with my mower, or do I got to go up and down stairs, up and down walkways with my mower? Because sometimes it's very easy. You could just enter like that. Sometimes you have to go up and down a walkway. You have to put your mower on stairs like this. And then if that is something I have to do every single week, week after week, for month after month, I would definitely charge more. So another thing besides just the texture of the grass, the length of the grass, the obstructions in the yard, is I would definitely look at the entry point to see if it's going to be more effort for me to get my equipment in and out versus it just being a clean open gate for me to go through. I'm editing the video now and just thinking about it. I've had so many instances with my 22-inch Toro and my X-Mark where I've had to move it up and down backyard stairs, like stone staircases and up and down ledges and stuff. And I wanted those jobs because I wanted as much money as I could take on. But at the same time, if you're going to be scratching up your mower, scratching up the bottom, scratching the deck, scratching the sides, just trying to fit it in these crazy places, I just think that's something you should take into consideration when you're doing your pricing. I don't know, at least where I live, some people just have weird sloped yards, especially in the hill country. You don't see them in my vids anymore because I got rid of them a long time ago because of those reasons. Now you just see all my cream of the crop replace the bottom from the top yards where they're all just cookie cutter, easy and flat and $50 and all those crazy ones. I wish I was filming in my YouTube videos back then for my crazy journey in the beginning, but I don't have them anymore. But I had a lot in the beginning. So that's just the main, what I would look for, from the texture to the obstructions to the entry point to the hills. And then to go a little bit more technical and to finish off how to quote this yard, what I would say is you should get a pretty good idea just by looking at the yard if it's going to be a weekly or a bi-weekly yard. Because from there, what you can do if you want to avoid the customer wanting you to come every 2 weeks because you said every 2 weeks, but now you're realizing, damn, this yard needs to be cut every week, but I didn't give them a price for that, so now I'm doing double the labor, is I would tell them, look, so I'm looking at your yard right now. Judged by the way that it looks, I would imagine that you only need to mow every 2 weeks. So let's just say $60 every 2 weeks. But say in the spring or the fall, whenever grass is growing a lot faster because it's the growing season, if it starts growing much faster, we're going to start doing it weekly. And then we're only going to be charging you $50 per visit. So if it's every 2 weeks in the slower season, $60 per visit. If we need to go into weekly mowing, then it'll be $50 per visit. But we will only do that if the weather calls for it, if the grass calls for it. So that way you leave nothing on the table and you're not stuck doing a yard every 14 days that needs to be cut every 10 days or every 7 days because you made the agreement with the customer and now your yard is up to your knees every 2 weeks because it's been raining for 2 weeks and it's just a jungle mess. So I think it's very important to just learn how to look at a yard and then just say, you know what, I think it will be weekly. I would think it would be every 2 weeks, and just give them a price for each. And then from there, they have just we're not even going to do it unless it needs it. So what if it never needs weekly? Then boom, we never do weekly. But at least you give it to the customer that you were prepared for it. So there's no surprises to them. We're just going to follow the weather, and whatever the grass needs, we're going to do it. It's bad to let the grass grow super tall in between mows, because if you're letting it grow super tall and you're chopping off half or more of the grass blade, you're going to be damaging it, versus just doing incremental cuts by cutting it more frequently versus letting it get super tall, just knocking it all down with a blade, and the blades will start to get all wilted and white, and then it just becomes a lot messier. You have more clippings, versus if you're cutting it every week, everything just mulches better, everything just decomposes better, and it's just a lot better for the yard. So that's what you should tell the customer. For if it starts growing too much in between mows, that's bad for the yard, it's bad for your equipment, and it's bad for your efficiency as well. Weekly or bi-weekly, just follow the season and just do it like that, and then just give them the prices so there's no surprises and you know what to do when time comes for it. Look, I'm doing this quote, and I guess if they have big old iguanas in their yard, then I guess maybe you give them like a Costa Rican discount or something random, right? So now to finish off this, damn, this is not a drill. I've never seen a horse do that. So now to finish off, that was just what I look for the price. How do you actually come up with the price? For the entire 5 years I was in business, I never did a square foot or square meter times labor hourly rate type thing. I know a lot of people do that. I just never did it. I just started with a fair conservative amount. For me, it was $20, $30, which is low in the beginning. I don't recommend you do that, but that's what I did. I just started getting customers. I didn't really care about making a lot of money. I just wanted to get yards because I was so nervous on, is the customer going to be happy with it? Am I even going to get callers? So in the beginning, I was just doing 20, then 30 for all my quotes. And then I was happy with that. And then obviously, naturally, you will go and then you will realize, okay, I'm worth more. I can do a better job. And then you start getting better equipment and you're like, I can be more efficient. I can get done quicker. And then whenever you have no customers, $30 per yard, $30 in an hour is way better than making 10, 12, 20 an hour working for somebody else. So I think that's just the lateral progression of it. From there, whenever you have 5 customers, then you start realizing, you know what? I have a little bit of wiggle room. I already have 5 biweekly customers with mowing on top of shrubs, fertilizer, and mulch. I can start wiggling a little bit higher so I can start quoting 35. So I think the best way for you to know how your pricing is going to start at is just be conservative. You don't have to be making a killing off right the back. I think you should go and get experience and make that your priority. And then whenever you get a handful of customers, say 5, you can go up by $5. And then whenever you have 20 customers, you can go up by $5. So that's what I did. I went from 30, started at 25, then 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. And then I found my ceiling around 60, but I don't really even charge 60, not even towards the ending, because I just felt like that was too high and I wouldn't pay myself that personally if I was hiring a service. But if I can have somebody come and do my yard that I could trust would do a great job around the windows of my house, around the windows and tires of my car, that I could trust to close the gate of my backyard and lock it properly so they don't let my dog out when I'm at work, that I could trust that they're not going to do a half-assed job, that I meet the person, aka me, I meet the person, I shake their hand, I get to know the guy who's doing my yard, I would happily pay $50, $40 for that, depending on the size of my yard, obviously. But for the size of the cookie cutter residentials that I had in San Antonio, Texas, $50 was very easy to land. And whenever they saw my reviews, whenever I went to go shake their hand in person, whenever I went to go tell them what I'm going to do, and they just got to meet me, they were happy to pay it. And if a customer doesn't want to pay it, then fine, I'll go on to the next one, because with your organic marketing, with the Google, with the word of mouth, with people seeing your house, people seeing your truck in front of their house week after week, people seeing you through the neighborhoods month after month, then it's just a matter of time before they get interested and want a call from you to go do their yard, and boom, it's all like just like that. So that's my little quoting video for you, John. I hope that helps. So that was like a 12-minute video, and I don't even know if I even directly answered the question of how to not underquote. How to not underquote, take all that into consideration, from the size of the yard, the length, like the type of grass, how often you're doing it, everything, and then just come up with a price and don't make it too low. And if you make it too low, then you'll probably underquote it. So just choose a fair amount, have a minimum, I would say, I guess is the only way to not underquote. Say you would never do a yard for below $30, or you would never do anything for below $50 an hour, and just look at the yard, and if the price doesn't match that, then I guess there's really no way to underquote it. I mean, on paper, but you're probably still going to underquote. And I think that's the whole thing. It's okay to underquote. It's just, how do you not get affected emotionally by underquoting, because you're going to do it. So just learn from it and then don't make the same mistake again. I think that's the best way to go about it. On top of all that, the entire business that I built, from marketing to everything that I did to grow my business to the $500 work days, to have a bunch of money saved up so I could just burn out and go to Costa Rica and just be here for like 45 days. It's all at makemoneymowing.com inside of my course and my program that I built. We're having so many people get so many good results. Augusto Cortazar, he just said that in 3 months, he went from zero, from being ex-military, just 0 customers, to having, I think, 40, 45 customers at his peak, making $4,000 a month easily. Christian Fioran said he's making $200, $300 a day, and I think he's a young gun. He's like 21 or something. Christian Yanez got a multiple crew going on. He's got like big old standards. There's so many people doing such good things, and it just goes to show that mowing is just a universal language. If you want the green life grass lifestyle, then it's right here for you, and the money's there, and the whole program is there for you to follow, and you could do what I'm doing, and then you could be riding horses in Costa Rica soon after. So with that being said, makemoneymowing.com, I just did my workout. 100 squats, 50 pull-ups, 50 dips, 50 knee raises. That was it. I feel like I'm pretty beefed up right now, and sorry I showed you that. You gotta be proud of your body. So peace out, have a good one. Let me know what you want to see next, and love you. Yeah, I'm back in the slab. One other thing I want to share, last final thing, is I really miss mowing so much. I miss my business. I miss making the $500 work days 2-3 times a week, and just having that income on top of everything else that I was doing, versus doing it all from the computer with my courses and my mentoring. I'm doing all that I can, but if you have a lawn care business and you have customers, I'm just giving you my blessings to go out there and make it happen. And I can't wait till I can go back to the States happily when the time is right, and then go back to my business. So with that being said, another thing also is, since I've been here, I don't have my equipment, I've been watching so many of the oddly satisfying mowing videos from like Long Hair Juggernaut. He has good videos. He has also a channel called The Boring Channel, just double shout outs. I don't even think he knows who I am, but he has cool videos. Blade Mate, who else? Something to Look At is the OG. I watch all the same videos that you guys do, but they're doing millions of views per these videos of just them mowing a yard, and it's like titled, "Did a free cleanup for a customer in need," or "I mowed a single mom's yard who was violating the city." And for these 20-30 minute videos, like at least for the one that I had for my million viewed video, it was like $5,000-$6,000. So you know me, I'm all about the hustle and making the money, and I wish I could be doing that, but I can't because I don't have any equipment with me to go do it, and I don't think they would hire a gringo, and I don't think I'd get paid enough being here in Costa Rica. But my message to you is, if you have a long hair customer, at least one, go out there and then ask if you can film their doing the job, and then you can make so much money with these oddly satisfying mowing videos where it's just like long hair porn, and people are just sitting there just watching people edge overgrown crack of the sidewalk and just mow, and it's just it is satisfying. So if I was in America right now, that's what I would be doing. So that's just my message to you guys, because I know everybody wants to be a YouTuber and make money from the YouTube ads. Go for it. I think that's the best way to go about it right now, because these videos are like NFTs. They're just the hot thing right now, these oddly satisfying mowing videos. So okay, with that being said, I'm gonna go home to my baby chickens now and go eat my fried chicken. Also, that's kind of funny, she's cooking fried chicken. I'm gonna hang out with my chickens. All right, peace out. MakeMoneyMowing.com. Get my program, get my course, get your whole business built, 500 a day. You know how to do it, and I'm here to show you. All right, peace out.